everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another book review. This is, of course, The Last Unicorn, but this is Peter S. Beagles' unpublished story, which is called The Lost Journey. And it holds true to the movie, if you've seen the movie, with the soundtrack by America, which is spectacular, by the way. This, let me see if I can get a sense of when this was published. Oh yeah, this is current. And talks about all the other books that he wrote. Of course, I remember Last Unicorn. That was one of my favorite books and still is. The Lost Version, 2007. Oh, Calabria. Sleight of Hand, The Overneath. The Lady and Her Tiger. I do believe I've read that. But everything that Mr. Beagle has written has been absolutely fantastic. But this is a very different story because within the confines of the narrative itself, Miss Unicorn encounters Azazel, or a demon, and Azazel is a very common name, and I was really quite intrigued because I know quite a bit about my Book of Revelation. I thought, Azazel, that is an actual demon. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I thought, does he know that these creatures actually exist? Because you have to be careful. They're tricksters. But anyway, Azazel is actually a very intriguing character. And the other demons that come along as well, and I can see why they wouldn't have been included. But the unicorn, she doesn't have any real issue with being alone. That is until she has constant companions with her, be they demons or not. And it's interesting. It's just very telling because I feel like being a mythical creature and the last of your kind, and then bumping into creatures that do exist, maybe on a darker plane, would give you a different perspective. And of course you can see that through her eyes. But the way this is written is very poetic, and of course I love the illustrations. Look how beautiful that is. That line work is pristine. I wish I could draw like that. My artwork is nothing compared. But this is the very, very beginning, and the very beginning is one I remembered from before, but it's just resplendent. The unicorn lived in a lilac wood, and she lived all alone. She was very old, though she did not know it, and she was no longer the careless color of sea foam, but rather the color of snow falling on a moonlit night. You see, that just immediately you're hooked. And of course, I love the encounter with the dragon. In the movie, there were no encounters with dragons. So being a lover of dragons as well, I just adored this. And the dragon considered her foolish for having such an upbeat attitude and being kind of naive as well. And the poor dragon has seen some rather terrible things in its existence, and you feel for him. He comes across as a very melancholic character, and the unicorn is the perfect foil for him. And most of the time he spends just crying. But what's intriguing is they don't get into a battle because the unicorns and the dragons have been fighting for eons, and usually when they meet, one or the other must die. But being that she is the type of creature that she is, with her generosity and her kindness, and just realizing how things have changed, it's very telling because it brings to mind just the modern world. They talk about carriages, but if you put it in today's context, you would add in automobiles. I thought, she's talking about progress and how progress changes things, not always for the better. And the wood where she lives is changing. And of course the young virgins don't come and call on her anymore. She knows what happens to them, but she doesn't really get company that much. So the company that she does have, even with the dragon, whom would be her natural enemy, she's welcome to it. And it's just a very, very fascinating tale and beautifully written. Woefully short, I should say. But I'm so glad I had a chance to read it because it's beautiful. And I adore The Last Unicorn. But that's all I gotta say. And Merry Christmas! Live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.